Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome out to another episode of According To Kaz Queen. As always, I'm Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And these are conversations that take place between a husband and wife in the privacy of our own home, and this exact location, as a matter of fact, and the bed as well, that we share with you guys.
What?
Sometimes.
That's how we started off.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of the conversations don't take place right here.
Oh, okay.
In this area. Some of the conversations take place in the bed. Some of the conversations take place at lunch.
In the car.
In the car. A lot of other places. It's a little bit dangerous for us to try to do the podcast from the vehicle. So we want to do it from there. But at any rate, we share these with you guys, sometimes to make you laugh, sometimes to make you think, to be introspective, but of course to open up the lines of communication between husbands and wives, men and women, friends and lovers, all of that good stuff, of course. You can hear us on all streaming services. You can hear us on Black with No Chaser Radio. Make sure that you download the BWNC Radio app. Check us out there with all the great podcasts that we have there. All right. We are on all social media platforms. All right. So if you're listening right now, you can go to Facebook. All right. It's at Kaz and Queen. You can go to Instagram. It's at Kaz and Queen. You can go to Twitter. It's at Kaz and Queen. You can go to TikTok. It's at Kaz and Queen. You see the theme that's going there? So you can check us out there. And of course, if you want to see our bright, shiny faces, you can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. I'm going to put my finger like right here, somewhere up in here. You'll see it on your screen. youtube.com/Brad Kamikaze Franklin. Still inching our way towards 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you like and subscribe. Send it out. If you are listening to us right now, make sure you recommend the podcast to someone. All right. This is good talk. This is real good talk. All right. Good conversation. Pass it on to your folks. And of course, this is brought to you by the Kundi Collection, www.kundicollective.com. We got one on right here, right now. Ain't no genius like Black Mississippi Jeans. You've seen this before.
And
one of our best sellers. And of course, we got Black and Proud right here.
Which is actually a top and bottom sweatsuit.
There it is. It's a whole full sweatsuit. So we got the jumpers, we got the sweatsuits, we got somebody just ordered a long sleeve tee from the website. So we'll be getting that out to them very shortly with one of our other designs. So these are designs to express your creativity and express your Blackness and express your love of Mississippi. So www.kundicollective.com. Make sure that you are checking that out, of course. A lot of stuff going on, particularly, but it is officially Black History Month. All right. So this is our first broadcast of Black History Month. There will be several more as it goes along. A lot of conversations. And I think you and I had a conversation about Black History Month and the commercialness of it now at this point, and the usual posts that you see from people when Black History Month starts. We talked about that a little bit. I want you to kind of expound on it because I think it's significant as Black folk in this country and being cognizant of it. It's significant of this month, but also significant that, we make sure that we acknowledge it and we're cognizant of it for the entirety of the year. We already know that they gave us the shortest month. This is a leap year, by the way. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. So we'll have an extra day for Black History Month. Yay, extra day. But you had some comments about, the post in Black History Month.
Baby, I don't really remember what I said.
You were talking about, the usual posts that come up about I celebrate.
Oh, yeah. So, people have a tendency to go on the defensive or something when stuff happens. It's not just Black History. It's Juneteenth. They do it measuring, the 4th of July against Juneteenth and whatnot. And I was just mentioning that, here we go again with this. You don't see certain people posting about historical Black information until Black History Month. And then saying, I'm Black all year long and all that. We know you Black all year long. And it's really just an acknowledgement that basically you're giving yourself a pass to post these posts because you got 29 days that somebody gave to you. Mm-hmm. And my point of view is that if you can post it in those 29 days or 28 days, then you should be able to line up your timeline to where you can post it the rest of the year. But, I'm not going to die in that ditch because I really understand what it is. People just, posting because it's Black History Month, and that's cool. But I would like to see more intentional posting throughout the year about your Black pride, because it's not something that we just pick up for 1 month out of the year and put it down. Just like Juneteenth, Juneteenth is about freedom. We should be celebrating our freedom the whole time. But, problem is we don't really feel free. So there's that.
There is that.
But yeah, I just kind of mentioned that I feel like people are really excited to post about historical Black information or to support culture or tell you to go spend money at these Black businesses during this month. And, everything is pro-Black. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we were pro-Black 365 days of the year? Like, how far would we get if the mindset that people carry for those 28, 29 days, if they carried those for 365 days? If that proud was as loud during the rest of the year as it is during Black History Month.
If that proud was as loud.
Yeah.
Might be a way to get that into another Kundi collection design.
Make your proud loud.
Make your
365.
proud loud. 365.
Coined. Y'all can't use that.
There it is.
Check the website.
Social media has brought out all of these contrarians, and it happens practically on every holiday now, almost. The good thing about social media is that anybody can give their viewpoint on something. And the worst part of social media is that anybody can give their viewpoint on something. So, Black History Month comes out. Oh, y'all are going to post during Black History Month. Well, I post all year long. I'm Black all year long. Well, Juneteenth comes out. Well, y'all going to go to Cinco de Mayo. I'm celebrating.
That's what we were talking about.
I'm celebrating Juneteenth. Mother's Day, comes out. No, well, Father's Day comes out. Well, I'm the mama and the daddy at the same time. So I'm going to celebrate on that too. Christmas comes out. Well, y'all celebrating Christmas. We celebrating Kwanzaa. And I don't celebrate Kwanzaa because the man was convicted of sexual assault and rape. So I don't, celebrate that. And, I'm not a Christian. So I don't celebrate, it's, July the 4th. We don't celebrate the 4th of July because it's not, every time a holiday comes out, there's somebody that's got something on the contrary.
People are attracted to being anti.
Yes.
They're attracted to being anti. However, at the same time, they are not forward thinkers. They don't create lanes. They just go against all the other lanes that's created. So, I take that with a grain of salt. It don't really mean that much to me because I ain't seen you doing nothing anyway. So
that's true.
Who cares?
That's true. But celebrate your Blackness. Be proud and loud during Black History Month. Shouts out to all of the poor babies in elementary school and middle school that are going to be doing Black History programs and Black History reports. And
shout out to the poor babies that's going to be doing Black History reports. What does that mean?
That means because, again, there's going to be somebody for the 9 millionth time that's going to do a report on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
So you mean poor teachers who have to read these things over and over again because it might be the only time that particular kid does a report.
Yeah, but we need to hear about all of the excellent Black people during Black History Month that have done a lot of great things. I say that to say not that it's bad that they're doing the Black History Month reports, but that, we have kind of limited ourselves to a very small circle of excellent Black folk to do reports on.
That's an easy fix. Teachers should just hand out who they want them to study.
That's true. But a lot of the teachers don't know.
Now, that's a problem.
So a lot of the teachers, especially if they're not Black teachers, a lot of the Black teachers, a lot of and some of the Black teachers don't know who to hand out. I'm going to hand you Martin Luther King. You're going to get Malcolm X. You're going to get Harriet Tubman. I can't, you're going to get.
You might get Fannie Lou Hamer.
You might get Fannie Lou Hamer. Maybe.
You're going to get Barack Obama.
You're going to get Barack. You definitely are going to get Barack and Michelle Obama. You're definitely going to get that. You're going to get all of those folks right off the top on the cursory level.
And then it's going to drop down to the entertainment business.
Yeah. You're You might get a Sojourner Truth.
I doubt it.
You might get a Shirley Chisholm, maybe.
Possibly.
You might get a Stokely Carmichael, maybe. And then, of course, those folks try to avoid some of the, more quote unquote controversial black folks. So, you're not going to get the Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Tyrese, Sonny Carson's.
But as parents, we can make our kids study these people too. We can't just put it all on the teachers.
It's not just on the teachers. You are correct.
I mean, we could very easily do what we do around here. Do you know who Sojourner Truth is? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
That's a job for a nation, a community. It's not just on one teacher. One teacher can't do it all. So that's something we all have to do in our households.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing wrong with telling them to do a report.
It's not. Get
them off social media a little bit.
And it's easy, when it's easy for them to just Google it. Everybody that we just talked about, you can Google it and you can learn about it. You can just tell them, hey, here's a name. I need you to go Google this and then come back, read it, and then come back and tell me about this person. You don't necessarily even have to write a report, but I think it's important because now with all of this diversity stuff and them trying to take it out of the classroom and off the universities and the campuses, we are in danger of being very close to having a generation of kids who are not really aware.
Oh, I think we're there. I think we're there already. I think we are absolutely there. And if you don't know, you don't have to know in order to tell them this name for them to Google it. They can Google it and come back and tell you what they learned. So now both of you know. But it's important. Our history will die if we don't teach it. And if you don't know, then you need to learn so you can teach it. And put yourself in rooms with people who see the value in having our history become a part of us and remain a part of us. Because we already don't have no home. We don't belong nowhere. We just here. So if we don't carry our family history and our cultural history and our heritage, if we don't carry that, our children will not find value in it. And then we're one generation removed away from just being here right now.
Yeah. And there is an effort, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and I know, a lot of you are aware of this. There is an effort to try to eliminate them teaching Black history in schools. There is an effort underway to try to remove any teaching, any vestiges, any instruction in the classroom on things that happened like slavery, like the Black codes, like Jim Crow, like Rosewood, like the massacres that took place, like the Montgomery bus boycott. They're trying to actually take these things out of curriculums in the schools. There are actual lawmakers who are trying to pass laws to prevent people from teaching this in elementary schools, high schools, and on the college level. The diversity, DEI, as they call it, they're trying to ensure that people are not aware of their history. And if you are not aware of your history, it's much easier for people to take advantage of you. And it's much easier for people to treat you any kind of way if you are not aware of what it is actually that you went through. If the dominant culture can figure out how to raise a generation of Black babies that are not aware of their history, it'll be easy for them to indoctrinate them and tell them, hey, racism doesn't exist. You can get out in the world and you can just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and America's not a racist country, and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. And you have a generation of Black kids who are ignorant to our history. And it'll be easy for them to be indoctrinated.
And a generation of white kids who are oppressors.
Yes, and don't even know it.
Who continue to oppress without knowledge.
And who are benefiting from systemic racism, benefiting from those systems.
So speaking of Black history and white people, suppose that you have a white ally who is, very aware or grew up with Black people, around Black people, very involved in the Black experience as much as a white person can be, right? What do you think Black history, right? What do you think, Black History Month, what do you think their involvement should be with Black History Month as it goes in relation to, people posting and sharing information and things of that nature?
They should pull up a chair and listen, or they should scroll and read and absorb information. And that's really it. There's no other contribution that you can really give other than that is to learn. This is a teachable moment for you if you are a white person.
What if this white person feels like silence is complicit?
Well, it depends on what they're silent about, because we do deal with white folks who, although they are aware of the systemic racism that exists and the discrimination and the culture that exists in this country, they're silent about it when perhaps their whiteness can assist us in essence. If this is about, a particular law, if this is about a particular instance, if this is about a particular instance of racism, and this white person speaking out can help to shine some light on it in a grand scale, that's true. But if you are a white person and you just have the hubris to think that because I know some things about black folk, I should be able to speak about it and be involved in the conversation. No, you don't need to be involved in the conversation. We don't need you to be in the conversation. We need you to listen. We need you to learn, and then use your white privilege when it's necessary to be able to assist in eliminating systemic racism. You are valuable to us being able to move this country forward, and you are valuable because your privilege that you have is a power that black folk don't have. So your privilege should be used in instances to be able to curb these instances of systemic racism that you run into. Otherwise, it's a teachable moment. That's my opinion. But what do you think about it?
Well, what I think is, I feel like I'm not loud enough. Can you hear me?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
What my opinion is that you speak only to white people and make that clear.
Yes.
Don't teach, talk, or approach me about the black experience in any way, shape, or form. I don't care how close you are to it. Don't tell me nothing about what I'm experiencing as a white person. And yes, it might be different for somebody else, but a white person, you can't talk to me about how I feel, what I've experienced, what struggles I've had because of the oppression that your people put on my people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So that would be the first thing. Talk directly to your white people, your colleagues, friends, family, followers, whoever. And then only talk about your personal experience.
That's it.
Talk about what you've seen, what you've witnessed, how you felt, how it was wrong, what you noticed, how that black person appeared to feel based on what you saw, not speaking on their behalf or for them, but talk about an individual personal experience. Don't speak on anything else, just what you saw, what you witnessed, how you felt, how you processed it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what he said.
You're broaching and you're going too far. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Speak to other white people.
For sure.
And again, that's what I was talking about. Use your privilege, to go out and speak to other white people to explain to them what their privilege does to black folk. And it does exist. White privilege is a thing. I'm not going to sit here and go back. I hate having arguments with white folks when they try to say that it doesn't exist. And it does. And it exists in spades. But
it don't exist to them because they're in the privilege.
Right.
So they can very well say it don't exist because that's not their experience. Absolutely. But you ask a black person who is actually in tune with what their life experience is, they will tell you that you have a privilege that I don't have. Actually, a privilege that nobody else has.
Right.
So you can't tell us that white privilege doesn't exist because now you're speaking to my experience and you can't speak to my experience. My experience is my own. Your experience, the only people that share my experience look like me. Same color, same experience. And then if you're from the South, we have a whole different experience than people who are raised in the North or the Midwest or wherever. It's totally different in the South. So you can't speak to what the black experience is. You can speak to what you see. You can talk about it's wrong, how awful it is. You can talk about that, but you can't talk about how we're affected by it.
And talk about it in the spaces where you're not preaching to the choir. Like, there's a lot of white folk that get their jollies off getting around black folk and, being a cheerleader and you wanting to get the amens and the handshakes and the pats on the back because you're speaking to us about our experience. We already know what our experience is. What you need to do is you need to go to the country club You need to go to the golf course. You need to go to your church. You need to be in an office by the water cooler. And that's when you need to be talking to other white folk about the experience and telling them about that. But see, the thing is, a lot of y'all are scared to have those conversations because you're scared of jeopardizing your spot at the country club. You're scared of jeopardizing your seat at that table at the country club. You're scared of jeopardizing your place in that foursome on the golf course. You're scared of jeopardizing your seat at the table at a chamber meeting or whatever the case might be. You're scared to jeopardize your space in the white spaces that you're at. So you keep those things to yourself. And you may post under, you may comment under a post that a black person might make. You might get into a room and you might speak your mind. But where it's necessary and where it's important, a lot of y'all are scared to go speak in those spaces.
And that is how you know white privilege is real. Mm-hmm. Because you can decide when and where and how and who you talk to about this.
Yes.
We can't decide that. We always have to be ready for those conversations. We always have to be ready to stand up for ourselves and not let oppressors oppress us. Mm-hmm. We have to always be ready for that. You can decide I ain't going to go there today because I don't want to lose my job. I don't get that choice.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right. And at the end of the day, white privilege exists is because you are afraid to lose it. You're afraid to lose it in those instances.
And be closer to us.
You're afraid to lose it. And I say this all the time. Every other culture or nationality that comes to this country, when they get here, they instantly try to assimilate into white culture. Mm-hmm. Whether it be Indians, whether it be Asians, whether it be any of the other cultures that come over here to America, they instantly try to assimilate into white culture. Even the Latinos and Hispanics that are coming into this country, there are a great number of them that as soon as they get some type of affluence, they try to assimilate into white culture and meld into that white culture. The Asians are sending their kids to white schools and into the academies. The Indians, the East Indians, are sending their kids to those schools as well and opening businesses and hotels in these particular areas in particular parts of town. They instantly assimilate with white culture because they themselves have watched how black folk have been treated in this country. They know how we've been treated. They know where the privilege lies. So what nationality of folks are going to come to this country and instantly try to snuggle up with black folk and be around black folk and live around black folk? They see how black folk are treated in this country. So when you talk about white privilege, all of that comes part and parcel with that. And when you don't speak on it, it's because you are afraid of leaving that bubble of privilege. We have talked to people, Indians, East Indians, not Native American Indians, but East Indians that have come to this country and assimilated into black culture and was summarily shunned by their family and shunned by their folks. Asians who come to this country and gotten into the struggle and the civil rights struggle and, begun, walking in lockstep with black folk, shunned by their folk. You're shunned for associating yourself with black people because the rest of the world, not just America, the rest of the world has seen us and seen how we have been treated, and nobody wants to be a part of that. So just to put a bow on your question, people are afraid to lose that white privilege. But if you are a white person and you are listening to this and you have the opportunity to be involved in some Black History Month programs, just listen. Just go in and listen. Go in and learn. And open your heart out and get the information that you need to get, and then use that information to be able to go back and say, hey, to your fellow colleagues, when y'all are around the water cooler, this is not cool. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And yeah, you might be shunned. They may no longer invite you to the water cooler. You may no longer be able to play golf with them. And there will give you a number one, A1 prime example of how white privilege works and how it exists. So that was a very good question, by the way. So at any rate.
Speaking of Latinos.
Yes.
One of my, I don't know how I feel about this fella. Like, I'm a really big fan of his voice, but I don't necessarily think I like him as a person. Tyrese.
Oh my God.
Tyrese is now in the news for making a statement saying that he wishes sometimes that he was born a Latino, simply because they support each other, they're there for each other, families look out for each other, and yada, yada, yada.
Black folk don't do that. You ain't seen any black people do that before. You know, it really kills me when I see folks make these statements and they make these grandiose comments and they make these sweeping generalizations of things. There are Latino and Hispanic families that have as much turmoil and as much drama as black folk do. You ain't seen any black folk work together. You ain't seen any black folk help each other out. You hadn't seen black folk love on each other. You hadn't been a part of that, Tyrese. Of course you have. You've seen it. I don't
see how he got to where he is without it.
Yes.
Like you've had, not only have you seen it, but you had to have experienced it as well to get to where you are.
Now, a lot of people laughed at you, but a lot of people embraced you when you got on the live and you were crying about seeing your kids.
Yeah.
People embraced you.
Yeah.
They showed you love.
Yep. Prayed for you.
Prayed for you. Now, a lot of us laughed at you, but a lot of people actually coalesced around you and prayed for you and collapsed around you and was like, hey, man, we got you. We understand. Baby daddies all over the world united and said, look what they doing to Tyrese. Look at what they doing to this black man trying to see his kids. You saying you hadn't seen black people do that? That's what makes, and you said this, and I'm going to let you expound on it, but this is what makes people not like you, Tyrese. This is exactly what makes people not like you, because you say stupid stuff like this. That baby boy character, anytime Tyrese does this stuff, that baby boy character, I think John Singleton casting Tyrese, when Tyrese walked in the room and opened his mouth, John Singleton was like, you know what? You are Jody. Because you are Jody. You are Jody evolved and grown up. You are Jody 20 years later, still a baby boy in the head saying dumbass shit that you're saying right now. It's just stupid.
It's irresponsible is what it is.
It's
like, you have a platform, sir. You can't just come out your mouth with everything that pop into your brain. Just take like 20 seconds to hold on to that idea and see if it dissipates into nothingness before you say it.
Yeah.
Because half the time you can save yourself some of this drama that you are putting yourself into if you just take 2 seconds to breathe in the comment before you make it. Because I know that you can't possibly be wanting people to think that you, well, I don't know. I take that back.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not real sure. What I do know though is that these comments that you make about fat people, all these things, they just irresponsible. You have fans out here. I am trying to be your fan.
She's trying, Tyrese.
I am trying to be your fan.
Because you can sing.
Only because you can sing.
That's
because
it.
Nothing else warrants attention from me.
No redeeming qualities at all for me.
So
and you were lucky enough to be a part of 2 major movie franchises, and if it wasn't for those 2, I don't know what you'd be doing. You probably would be on live crying a lot more than you are. You should be thankful that you were able to be in Transformers and in the Fast and Furious movie series, and that God blessed you with that voice that you rarely use now, by the way. You don't use the voice. You know what? You should sing. When somebody asks you a question, you should just start singing.
Just sing the answer. Sing the answer.
No, don't sing the answer.
Just sing anything.
Because you might sing how much you wish you was a Latino. You might sing that. So I can't even give you any space to even come in and give an answer. When people ask you questions, just sing. Sing the Coke commercial. Do any of that. But stop talking.
I wish for you, Tyrese, maybe you're watching, I wish for you some black pride, A. And secondly, just the ability to hush sometimes. Just hush. Everything don't need to be stated. And even if you meant it in jest, once it's so stupid, they're going to grab a hold to it and it's going to be viral. So just, I wish for you the hush syndrome. Hush. Hush.
I always go back to school days, and I remember the not the Bill Duke character, but I forget the guy's name. He always plays younger cats when he was old. He was Radio Raheem in Do the Right Thing, but he was in School Days, and they was talking to the Lawrence Fishburne character. They was talking to Duck after Duck had gone out, and he was doing a protest, and he was like, basically, Duck, you know what? Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And that has just stuck with me through that every time I be thinking about that when I'm around some people that I feel like just need to shut the fuck up. I think about that. And he said it to him in love because, that does not mean that you always have to give a response. You don't always have to give an answer. Sometimes just shut the fuck up and you'll be cool. And Tyrese, I guess today on Kaz Queen, you will get the Just Shut the Fuck Up award for saying those things that you say, I don't know what's going on in your head. You've gone over to Dubai and they have kind of, rode your jock a little bit over there. And I guess you want to be embraced. I guess you feel like you're going where you're appreciated. If that's where you think so, then that's fine.
Go on, but don't denounce us because you decided that you can do better. Like, that ain't how this thing works.
Right. And I almost, just playing devil's advocate, I almost get the energy in what you were saying. I get what you was trying to say. Maybe if I was playing devil's advocate and I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt, I almost get what you're saying. But you said it wrong. And I don't think you're bright enough to kind of articulate your point of what you're saying. But to say that black folk...
Had he simply said, I can really appreciate the love and support of the Latino community, it would have been totally different than I wish I was born Latino.
Could have left it there. I wish I was born... What's your mama? Your folks, your family. I don't know if his mom and dad are still living, but what the fuck, man?
I don't know, but it's par for the course for Tyrese, and I'm hanging on by very, very thin.
She is now, and she
very, very thin.
Tyrese, she is a fan almost to
every time I feel like I can come back. You do something else.
You do something stupid.
Say something else.
Speaking of stupid, we got to talk about this before we get out of here. Keith Lee, TikTok, social media reviewer. I guess, I don't know. This man wields so much power now. It's ridiculous the amount of power that this man wields. He's just walking around. He's going around the country with his family now, eating for free at restaurants. He's dropping off tips on folks, but he didn't start off dropping off these big tips, but he's giving these reviews and he's making or breaking these, these places. He went to Atlanta. I think we talked about it a couple of episodes ago. He went to Atlanta and he left scorched earth over in Atlanta. I don't think they'll ever recover. He was in Dallas over the past few days. He went to a slightly seasoned food truck and went there and left them $4,000, told them to run the card, instructed the lady to give $1,000 to the guy that was outside cutting hair and to a lady that was braiding. And he said specifically, you're going to take $2,000 for you. And he paid for the rest of the people in line too. So it was an extra $800 that he put on top of the $4,000. And he was like, you give out food to the rest of these folks out here. He's going to give out free haircuts and she's going to braid free. Here's your money for the day. Thank you. The young lady got him to come over there by putting up a video. And this lady proceeded to, she gave 3 free plates out. And then charged everybody else she gave out as many plates as she could give out while Keith Lee was still on the premises. Soon as that man drove off and was gone and down the street, she started back charging again, and all hell broke loose after that. I don't know, how much of that did you?
I saw it, but I saw his response to all the uproar, and basically what happened was he was not clear enough. He thought he was clear, but he wasn't clear enough. What he said to her was, you can divvy the money up however you want to. What he meant was, I don't care how you give it to him, whether it's Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, this is how I want you to disperse it. What she heard was, I'm giving you $4,000, do what you want to do with it.
And that's when folks is on bullshit, because that's what she heard. I watched the other video. And I watched it from different angles. There's one video where they show him saying it from several different angles. He said specifically, $1,000 to the barber, $1,000 to the braider, $2,000 is your tip. And he gonna cut hair for free, she gonna braid, and you gonna give people free food. He said it to her face. He said after that, he said, you can divvy it up how you want to divvy it up. But after he had told them specifically the amount and who to give it to, he said you can divvy it up, which he meant at that time, you can give him a check, you can cash out him or whatever the case is. But he said directly to her as she was holding on to his hand, getting emotional, shaking his hand, I'm going to give you $2,000. $1,000 goes to this guy, $1,000 goes to that guy. He said, I didn't know if they was all together or not. That's not what I was worried about. I wasn't concerned about it. She commenced at that point to keep all of the money. Then she made a video saying that, the other two people were not with her. They were not with them.
That don't matter.
It don't matter. But in her mind, she fixed. What happened was that she was trying to figure out a way to justify her keeping that money. And since then, within 48 hours, she has put permanently closed on Slightly Seasoned on Facebook and has gotten horrible reviews. She even tried to go by one of the other names that she uses now. She's got another food truck. She went over there to that one. They then started coming over there to that one and leaving bad reviews on there as well. She tried to come back and post a video and say that her son reached out to her friend and tell them to come get their money. So now she's trying to backtrack and trying to give them their money now. And the young lady has said, now, I don't want it. You can keep it. Because
now what she do that for?
I think just to let her know that you fucked up.
I'm sorry. Run me my money.
I get it. And she should at the end of the day. But, maybe it's her trying to stand on business and stuff.
All of this seems quite faulty and negative. And dude said what he said. He gave them what he gave them. He said he done with it. He moving on to the next city. And unfortunately, this is what she's left with. She turned beautiful blessing into a destructive situation.
Yes.
And that's so unfortunate because contrary to what people might believe, whether it's viral, shown on social media or not, people have that mentality and operate in it every day, all day. And shoot themselves in the foot when blessings are placed that they do.
I think there were some people that were saying that she said her business was struggling. She admitted to it. She couldn't get people, she couldn't even get her sons to come work with her at the truck. The son got those two friends to come and work the truck because her mother couldn't get anybody to work the truck.
All of that would have changed after this.
All of it would have changed. She, the word is that, she's just not good at business, period. And
clearly.
This is just another instance where, she just is not, she's not good at business, and she also has a very bad attitude, and that's why she has not been successful at what she has been doing. And you can see that's the case because she instantly tried to figure out a way to keep that money. And somebody was saying something about what kind of mentality this is. And I got to go back and look at it. And I had it prepared to be able to use on this podcast today. But the thought that instead of doing what you were instructed to do, now you can speak to this better than I can, and because you're the spiritual, guru of our household. But she was given a specific set of instructions for this blessing. A specific set. I'm going to give you this, but you do this and you do this. And I was thinking about if it was me, I'd have went to the bank. If I didn't have it on hand, I'd have went to the bank and got them $8,000 and gave them $8,000 right then in their hand before 30 minutes or an hour had passed. Because the blessing and the blesser said, I want you to do this and this and this to give it to you. And then, of course, in my mind, you're going to have a line of people, which Keith Lee said 80 people showed up
before he
even left to line up. Your blessings were going to multiply if you just did what I instructed you to do. And instead, you tried to figure out a way to keep the money and make an excuse for keeping the money. And now you got nothing.
Mm-hmm. People do it every day. It don't necessarily look like that, but it is that. Mm-hmm. God sent a blessing your way and you try to cultivate it into the way that you want it to be. That's not how this thing works. Blessings are blessings. The man was very, very precise on what he wanted and how he wanted it done. Mm-hmm. So, she just kind of interfered with the blessing and you don't do that. And now look at where you are.
Nowhere.
Look at where you in a worse situation now than you were before he even came there.
They said over $4,000, you probably missed out on $40,000, or you have missed out on potentially $400,000.
She could have doubled what he gave her that day. Mm-hmm. And that ain't got nothing to do with tomorrow and the next day. Mm-hmm. She could have doubled what he gave her that day. Mm-hmm. But now she's out of business. I think
somebody was saying it was a deficit mindset. You operating in a deficit mindset. And I can say that because I'm going to be honest with you, full transparency. I have been there before.
Sure.
And you operating in a deficit
I got to hold on to it.
I got this $4,000. I have to, even though I've been told to disperse it in this way, I've got to figure out a way to wiggle my way into this so that I can keep the majority of this $4,000 because I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. And because I'm struggling, I need to keep this money in my hand because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get this money again. I'm not looking at the blessing that's going to come in. I'm not looking at the bounty. I'm not looking at how this blessing is going to multiply for me. I'm operating in a deficit mindset and I'm in this moment. And she was operating in that moment and said, I'm going to keep this $4,000 and I'm going to make up all kinds of excuses. She said on her video, I don't feel like I'm wrong. And she was getting roasted in the comments. And she said, I don't feel like I'm wrong.
That's unfortunate.
They wasn't with me. They were my son's friends.
They don't have nothing
my
to do
son
with it.
Invited them there. They were not my son. I'm going to get it. And then she said, I'm going to get the money to my son and let him decide if he wants to pay them for it. Then she tried to pull that right there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Because, to me, I hear this story and I hear that she has not learned a lesson. Mm-hmm. So
she learned it now.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
She won't ever be able to sell food in Dallas, I don't think.
That don't mean she won't start doing something else and still keep the same mentality.
I don't know. To be in a city like that and have him to come through and do that, we need to figure out how to start doing some food reviews because obviously that's where the money's at. Just ride around, let's do some food reviews. Let's review some folk stuff and let's post it and put it up. Cause that's all he's doing.
Baby, don't nobody care about what we eat.
Nobody cared about what Keith Lee was eating either at first. And now they do.
Okay.
Now he takes his whole family around the country and he just goes to places and he eats and he drops off a little money, gives them a little blessing, and then he posts a video. And when he posts a video, people zoom back over to her spot. I guess they're going to do that. I guess. Tabitha Brown was here in town on yesterday, as a matter of fact. And, she was supposed to be going around to some restaurants here in the Jackson, Mississippi area, which is where we are. But, these influencers who go out and do these food reviews, I mean, we go out and we eat. We like to eat. I don't see why, we couldn't do. We'd have to actually go out, and it's unfortunate. We'd have to go out and we'd have to trash the hell out of a restaurant first to go viral. And then
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I'm not interested in trashing a restaurant.
Because that's really how he got his momentum. Because he was, and I don't even think he was absolutely horrible. He just said he didn't like it, and this is what I don't like. Yeah,
and then, but being the what's the word that I'm looking for? The customer service guru. You could go and maybe you could rate the customer service at restaurants because
I wouldn't be able to eat nowhere in Jackson.
You wouldn't actually, but you would go viral because it ain't no telling what's gonna happen. We talked about this on this show before.
And I'm not saying
you don't have no problem calling the manager at all.
Oh no, I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to eat anywhere in Jackson because they'd all be bad. I'm saying that after a while, nobody would want to wait on me.
I think that's true.
Yeah,
I think that's true. Again, I'm almost positive. I'm 100% positive that somebody is taking our food and spit on it. We couldn't tell, but I'm pretty sure because you are hell on wait staff.
I'm actually super nice to wait staff unless they are horrible at their job. I like waiters and waitresses who are pleasant. And I'm okay with the ones who don't go to a whole lot of extremes, but do their job. Mm-hmm. Do what they're supposed to do. Don't let me have to look for you. Don't let me, you know what I'm saying, ask for something and don't do it. I'm cool with that. What I don't like is the ones who don't want to be there. And I can tell that they don't want to be there based on the service that they provide.
That's a whole thing right there. You can go viral just off that alone. You coming in the restaurant, you could be assured that you're going to get the best service because here comes Queen. We got to be on our P's and Q's. Food might not be worth a damn, but...
Well, they ain't got nothing to do with the food.
Yeah, it doesn't at all whatsoever.
And then if the food is not bad, but the wait staff is superb, I still would go. I want to be treated well when I go spend my money because I work hard for it. I don't want to give it away. I want to keep it. But if I do give it away, I mean that thing. I'm committed to giving it away.
I prefer to get full and get the bang for my buck. Even if the food is not great, what I hate is going to eat and spending a good deal of money to eat and then being hungry an hour later. It feels like I've defeated the purpose. What did I give you my money for? I came to your restaurant to eat, to sustain myself, and I have left, and I am now hungry again because the portions were not commensurate with the amount of money that I have paid. I will take a waiter or waitress that does not particularly want to be there on that day because all of us have those days, I feel. I take that. I take some service that's like, here or there that I may have to call them a couple times. But if I walk out of there full and I'm talking about my belly full and I feel good and I feel sustained, I will feel like my money is worth it.
Nah, if I have to have a back and forth with a waiter or waitress over my food, I can't even enjoy it. I don't even want it. By the time we get through going back and forth, I don't even want it. I don't want to be here and I'm probably not coming back. Not that you care. You probably don't care if I come back or not. But I just feel like that is something that should be required from someone who is applying for a job as a wait person. You ought to be able to make my day better. And I don't think that is something that people understand. The better I feel about being here, talking with you, engaging with you, or not, but I like that. If I'm able to, like when we went to a trio for lunch, the young lady, we had to look for her. She wasn't around, but she was like busy doing some other stuff. But we had to look for her. Once we made contact with her, she was pleasant. She was smiling. She was, just overly nice. And the food was good. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious. But she is what I remember from going to that restaurant. It's not necessarily, I remember the chicken. I ain't gonna lie, the chicken was good. But it wasn't necessarily just the food. She's what I remember. When I go back in there, I'm going to look for her wherever she's working. That's where I'm sitting. And I'm going to sit there every time I go in there.
You said, I look for them to make my day better.
That's too much.
That's a lot of damn pressure to put on some wait staff. Now they got to come in and now they got to cajole you and make your day better.
No, you putting a little too much on it. I simply just need them to pull me present, make me see them, make me see where I'm at. And all they have to do is what this girl did, smile, talk to me like I'm a person, let's have some conversation. She said something like, I asked her, what do we do with the plates? And she was like, that's a regular question. Don't worry about it. Everybody asks. I was like, we're new and this is our first time in here. We don't know what to do with these plates. Do we use these or we get new? She was like, that's a good question. Don't worry about it. And she made me she pulled me out of whatever was going on just simply by saying, girl, it's okay. That's a regular question. We keep the plates. You go up there and get as much as you want. Blah. She made me feel comfortable. She made me feel welcome. And she did not make me feel funny about having to ask that question. Somebody else could have taken that as, well, what you think you're supposed to do with the plate? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but you can keep it. I don't care. Whatever you do with it, I don't care. You can go back up there. You know what I'm saying? That type of attitude would have been a problem for me.
And you'd have been cool with that if the food was subpar. You'd have been cool with that experience.
What experience? Under no circumstances would I have been cool with the second experience. If she acted like she didn't care or had an attitude that I was asking the question, nothing they could have done would have made that a good experience.
Even with the excellent food that you had?
I probably would have ate it.
Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies.
I would have been too miffed to enjoy it.
I don't know, man. I just be in there to eat. I'm kind of oblivious to everything else. Bring me my food. Make sure I don't want to pay an exorbitant amount of money for no tiny little plate with the food in the middle. I want to get bang for my buck, and I want to walk out of there full.
Good food, good service equals a good experience for me, and I will pay for a good experience.
Good food, good prices.
I ain't really mad at the prices. If the service is good and the food is good, I pay whatever they asking for what I want. Because if I can't afford it, I ain't going anyway. If I'm sitting in there, I can afford it.
I gotta have portions. That's me. I told you I want to put a show together because we see all of these cooking shows where they go out and he's got these little places with the little stuff in the plates, and they do these things with the
fancy plates.
The fancy plates. I want to do a food show for the Food Network where you go out and I go to places where you get the most food for your buck. The places where you go and you spend a certain amount of money and you gonna just be slathered with food. And there have been places like that you can go to in Mississippi, of course, because, you know, we do a lot of eating in the state. But I like to go to places where I'm gonna get bang for my buck. I want to go to restaurants where the portions are gonna just be off the chain for the amount of money that you're gonna spend.
Well, you just need to go to buffets.
Because if I spend $20, I want to walk out of there full. I don't care what it is. If I spend $40 or $50, I definitely want to walk out of there full. I want to go home, and when I sit down, I want to feel like I'm ready to pass out and go to sleep at that point. If I go home after spending $50 on me personally, and then with us together, I'm spending $100 or more, and we come back home, and then in 30 minutes, I'm like,
So it doesn't matter to you if the experience was good, if you still hungry.
If they don't come to the table and act like a complete dick, or, you know, say something about my mama, or, you know, just something just ridiculous, I'm cool. I know you're having a bad day. That's cool. Just bring me my food. I'm here to eat, and I want to get out your way as fast as possible. Just bring me my food. I'm cool. You know, that's extenuating circumstances. We've been with wait staff that have, you know, been dicks and not helpful or whatever the case is. That happens. But for me, it's got to be just completely unavoidable for me to make it.
It's all unavoidable.
It's all unavoidable?
Yeah, that's a choice. If you got a nasty attitude, waitressing is probably not for you.
They may not have a nasty attitude. It just may be a day where they having a bad day.
There's a difference between just not really up to it, having some personal stuff going on. There's a difference because you're still trying to push through. There's a difference in that and having a nasty attitude. Clearly, you know the difference. Maybe you have to feel it or read the energy, but you can tell when someone is struggling in their personal life or just got out of a conversation right before you walked in that didn't go so well, but they still trying to do their job well. You can tell them people, and I'm cool with them because I feel like I take that as a challenge because I want to pull you over to the right side. So I'm going to overextend my positive energy to help you get through your day. But then you got some people who don't give a damn about you being there. Those are the people that I'm not really cool with. They don't care that you're there. They don't care if you leave. They don't care if you like food. They don't care if you're nice to them or they nice to you. I'm not interested in that at all.
Well, there you go.
Because I can order my food off DoorDash and control all the energy around me. I ain't got to come to your restaurant. So if I come to your restaurant, make me okay for being there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you see that if Queen comes in your restaurant, you know what you need to do. Just bring me my food.
I had one girl tell me, I ain't never waiting on you. You killing me out here in these streets.
All right, Kelly, you killing me with this, man. Because you be doing it. Anyway, man.
Killing me, man.
We're going to get on out of here, man. Thank y'all for joining us again, of course. We're on all streaming services and we're on all social media platforms, man. It is Black History Month. So celebrate your blackness and celebrate black excellence. Be cognizant of your blackness, okay? We see color, okay? See your blackness and embrace your blackness. And on that note, I am Kaz.
And I'm Queen.
And this is According to Kaz Queen. We're going to holler at you guys next time. All right, peace.
Black power.